Dr. Doug here, and welcome to this video. This one goes a bit deeper, so hold on to your suspenders. All right, so very importantly, you see, our consciousness, that's from a higher place of who we are, from the soul that we are. This consciousness, and there's different levels of consciousness. There's low-grade consciousness or fear-based consciousness, and this is where our personality being, our ego mind, lives, because it's a survival-based ego or survival-based personality. We develop a happy-go-lucky personality so people will like us and we won't get eaten by that tiger or that bear of our family or the neighbors across the street or whatever it is, or we become mean and tough so no one will, do bad stuff to us, and then we develop that ego-based personality. Many different ways to develop a personality, and there's many books on it. In fact, Carolyn Mace wrote one called Sacred Contracts, which has like 223 different archetypes or personality types, and the Jungian philosophy and psychology by Dr. Carl Jung that is all about archetypal patterns or archetypes or personality types of people and why they do what they do. And we tend to have a combination of archetypes that we come in with. That's what Carolyn's book, Sacred Contracts, was about. And so we might have the wounded healer and the child and the prostitute and the warrior, and these are all different types of archetypes and sub-archetypes of the archetypes. And these all develop our level of where we are in our consciousness. Now, Dr. David Hawkins, MD, wrote a book called Power versus Force. That's his first well-known book and the easiest one to read. And then he has other ones, The Eye of the Eye and so on. But Power versus Force, he talks about a consciousness scale, and that we start down with this very low fear-based consciousness, and as we evolve up, we go into higher states of consciousness. And that most of humanity is in this fear-based consciousness at different levels, victim consciousness at different levels, until we start to come out of the victim-based consciousness a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, until we can get into higher states of love and joy, and finally into states of enlightenment where we don't carry any of those burdens or shadow sides of consciousness, fear-based consciousness running us. But in our, dangerous world, driving your car, you gotta watch out for cars, like that. If you're in like a Zen state, it'd be hard to slam on the brakes. So we have to be, they call it driving defensively, right? So that's being aware of those things and being ready to get away from that bear or somebody about to hit us on the freeway or something on the brakes, red lights, stop. Right? So this level of consciousness, so wherever your level of consciousness is, tends to create different levels of diseases and problems in life, failure, upsets, and creates more traumas. So a big deal is to be aware and to be focused on what can I do to look at where my consciousness is now. How do I think, feel, and believe right now? What's the pattern that I'm running? And where am I at in my level of consciousness? And to start to raise that consciousness by dissolving away the fear-based consciousness and moving into the love, joy, enlightened-based consciousnesses. And, we just feed a little bit of that into us, and then we raise up a little bit more, and a little bit more. So we have to get out of personality consciousness and rise up into this soul spirit consciousness, this higher consciousness. That's where love and joy and the true states that we seek through materialism and sex and work and play and drinking or whatever, doing drugs, whatever it is that people are seeking. But it's really reconnecting to this higher consciousness and allowing it to pull us up to this higher level. And so these are the higher states of consciousness. Now that takes a larger commitment. But as you start to dissolve the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs, the toxins, and the traumas, physical and emotional and mental, that occur in life, your health, happiness, and success will raise up to a more higher, true level of why you came to be here. And then if you choose to dive into consciousness a bit more deeply, then that can pull you up into to higher states of health, happiness, and success, the true successes that you came here to experience. And that is through our ever-evolving heart, our ever-evolving consciousness. And there's been some great authors and consciousness leaders in this area. Joel Goldsmith, if you haven't read him or heard of him, an amazing man, and he started writing stuff way back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and his books changed my life. And if you like to pick up something, it's called The Power of the Presence. Little thin book, easy. I don't want to say an easy read, it's a short read, but it's something you'll probably want to read over and over again. And these will give you an idea. And what Joel Goldsmith said is consciousness is everything. That's the essence of who we are. We are consciousness. And as this consciousness is lower, so our lives go. As our consciousness raises, so our life goes. And this is evolving consciousness. And again, Cellular Resonance Technique has an ability to help you to resolve lower levels of consciousness, which gives you greater opportunity and potentiality to raise your consciousness to higher and higher levels. And when I've worked with people, I've checked on, Dr. Hawkins has a scale of consciousness. It goes from 0 to 1,000. He said 1,000 was enlightenment. And he compared that to that of the unenlightened master, Jesus. And that's where he focused that consciousness, and then saw that humanity was at 200 and below, the majority of humanity. But when I've worked with people, I've seen consistently over, depends on the amount of focus, consistency of people coming to see me, but I've seen within a few months of care, people's consciousness raising quite a few points beyond what Dr. Hawkins said was the average in this life. He said most people go up or down 3 points, and I've seen my clients, patients, consistently raise up 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, even 100 points on that scale during a course of care. And that puts them in a very different mindset, an automatic, where they're not in this automatic fear-based consciousness. They have more choice, more ability to make greater choices and decisions in their life, and direct their life in a very different way, and treat themselves better. Because with a greater level of worthiness and deservingness, and getting out of that undeservingness and that unworthiness, to live a very different life. And that's when we look at the definition of health in the dictionary. First of all, the word health used to be whole, wholeth. How is your wholeth today? Your wholeness. And consciousness is about becoming more and more whole, more and more connected to this higher consciousness that directs us into a more whole, perfect, and complete creation that we were created to be. So this is our job. We have basically 3 major jobs in this life: to be as healthy as we can be. That's number 1, because without that, it's hard to do the next 2. The next one is to evolve our consciousness, to evolve into a higher state of consciousness, more love, inner peace, harmony, joy, and contribution, and what we give, which is number 3. How we can raise our level of giving and serving others. Because, we're all here together. We're all, working together. We're all from the same source. Doesn't matter what our race, religion, what we look like, male, female, sex. We're here to dissolve all this separation consciousness that makes us appear and look different and bad and good and right and wrong, and rise up into this higher state of consciousness where we're all right. We're all right to be us. Where you can be you and change the world, be you and contribute, and contribute what? That third thing is to contribute your gifts. So to really come out of the shadows into the gifts that you are, and be the gift that you are to yourself and to others, to your family, to your friends, to your neighbors. Even to that guy who's trying to get in front of you on the freeway, because we got to work together. So these higher states of consciousness, and to give and contribute these gifts. And together we create a better world. And I like that concept. I've had that in my heart since I was a kid. I always knew that that's what I was here to do, is to help create this utopia. My father says, that's a utopia, it's a doggy world. You better, straighten up and learn about that. And yeah, it's harmed and hurt me in many ways, but then you just can't let it. You got to upgrade one's consciousness, let go of the traumas, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual levels, and the subconscious, physical, cellular, and field levels. And then we begin to live a very different life. True success. True success is being you. True success is living the dream that you came here to create and to share with others. And a lot of us, maybe our dream is not aligned with what we want to do. So we might need to get more in touch with what that dream is. What's our true purpose? What is your true purpose? Individually and as a collective. What's your passion individually? What's your passion truly? What is it really? See, the ego has its ideas. But what does your soul have in mind? We need to get our ego and our soul aligned and then raise that consciousness up so that they work together. Because you'll always have an ego, but when it's merged with the soul, with the higher consciousness, the higher self, aspects of ourselves, it knows how to direct us and allow this, it tends to now support the spirit, supporting the ego, rather than the ego trying to be in control of the spirit. So, consciousness, big subject. I hope this was, inspiring to you, and know that that's who you are. The spirit, ego, personality being, here to raise your consciousness, be as healthy as you can, and share your love, your light, and your gifts with others, and to experience theirs, because that's fun. It's really great to experience other people's gifts and let those inspire us and help us to be better people and to enjoy our lives and life and laughter and love. So thank you for listening all the way. I'm going to share a little bit on the next video about epigenetics. That's an important subject. And we'll talk to you more. If you don't know what that word means, well, you will in the next video. See you there.